G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the north side of the map, playing in the colour green as the Malians. It is Marine Lord's Cat. And on the south side of the map in the colour blue, playing as the English. It's Divine DFP. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dry Arabia. We're here on the ranked ladder. I got a little bit bored. I said, you know what? I need some English gameplay. I've been missing it lately. So I went over to AoE4 World, typed in, I didn't really type it in, I just clicked the buttons. I said I want to see some English gameplay at the Conk 3 level, and this game came up and said Divine takes on Marine Lord's Cat. And I said, well, Marine Lord's Cat, you know, I've seen it a couple of times on Marine Lord's stream. Never really struck me as much of an RTS player. Obviously, it's got the ability to pause, but not really much else. Hey, come on, that's a dad joke. Hey, you get it? Because Cat's got pause. Hey, all right. Anyway, I'm not even kidding you. Didn't prepare that one. Just came up in my head. That's how good I am at doing this thing. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a casted game. We are going to be witnessing what I'm very excited to call a tough matchup. The Malians against the English. You know, this is up there with some of the hardest matchups in the game, at least from the English perspective, at least from my opinion, from my my driver's seat. That's the way I see it. Now, for anybody interested in some coaching, make sure you check out the Patreon. Of course, we've got the link down in the description if you want replay reviews, private coaching, all of your exclusive content available over there as well. But let's talk a little bit about this opening, because we've got a bit of an interesting opening coming out from Divine. So 3 vills on gold, quite a lot. Also, we have an early wheelbarrow. Now, this is interesting, the early wheelbarrow coming out from Divine. This is actually something that I've trended away from. And I think if more people come to understand the... how can I say it? Early wheelbarrow isn't as good as you think it is. Don't get me wrong. There are always going to be, you know, times where your wheelbarrow is really good to have. You know, if you're getting raided, you need your vills to move a little bit faster. It's really nice to have the early wheelbarrow in. But if you're not getting raided, the amount that it delays you, it's quite significant, especially if you're looking to play for more than 1 TC, which at the moment, that is definitely the trend for English players. I don't know exactly how Divine looks to play the English, whether he goes into 2 TCs, 3 TCs, 7 TCs, but one of the things to note is if you do get that later wheelbarrow, you will be delaying the TCs, and if you delay the TCs, you will have a lower villager count. Pretty simple. But obviously you'll have a lower villager count if your vills die because they were getting raided. So there is definitely 2 ways to think about it. But the age ups are now starting to come through. Marine Lord's Cat going to be looking to drop the Mansa Quarry down a few tiles away from the town center. A lot of villagers here as well. I'm expecting that Marine Lord's Cat's probably going to be moving into professional scouts. I think makes a lot of sense, especially against the English. A civilization that typically doesn't utilize their deer, and as a result, it means that you can look to go and pinch them pretty much uncontested. Now, it depends on what Divine's thinking about when it comes to his playstyle, because if he does look to go for second town centers, this is always an option for you, but just keep in mind, at least whenever I'm playing English and I'm looking for additional town centers, I'm thinking, all right, well, this is a god tier second town center. And you can see from the way that Divine's placed this mill. So this mill's going to be taking up 2 tiles here. So he's not actually going to be able to fit a TC right here. He might put the TC here, though. That could be an option for him. He's got gold on the other side, so another town center might just go down right there. So we'll have to wait and see how he plays it. But over on the other side of the map, Marine Lord's Cat, has aged up to the feudal age. Stable, now going to be coming down. So there it is, as we would suspect. 215 gold in the bag. Plenty of villagers on the straggler trees at the moment. Going to be moving out. Look at all these villagers just carrying the wood out here. He's got 10 of them for the moment. And going to be looking to expand out onto this wood line on the backside. Scout on the enemy stone mine. Watch out for that warrior scout upgrade. It'll be the first thing coming through for him. And watch out for a mill dropping down next to the town center. He'll be looking for that very fast mill, and you can see the stable already rallied to the back of the English base. Not the best rally point, we'll say that much though. Of course, as we suspected, it is going to be a second town center coming through for Divine. Already some pressure down here on the south side of the map. You can see the scout gonna have to fall back. Keep in mind it's got the regen. As soon as that warrior scout comes through, you're gonna see that regen go through the roof. These things are crazy, the amount of regen they've got. Instead, it looks like it's gonna be a focus on the hunts. Potentially. No, not for the moment. It's going to be an outpost. A toll outpost. A very aggressive toll outpost coming in from Marine Lord's Cat. Stop what you're doing. Pause right now, because that is dangerous. And this is super smart. I love this, because if you can control the English player's gold, you can prevent them from aging up. This is a real big factor in the defensive playstyle of the English. When it comes to dealing with the English, putting down that outpost is going to prevent that age up. Even if they go and put a town center right here, you've got to remember the town center goes up. Well, even if the outpost is up, arrow slits comes through, you're not gathering that gold. There's no amount that you're going to be able to gather off that. It's just not possible. One of the things that you could potentially do, though, seeing as you've already got a council hall, if you do spot that happening, and we do see the villager getting chased across the map here, Divine doing a great job with that, as his scout now falls back towards the town center, getting chased by 3 scouts from the enemy. He should be able to spot this outpost coming up, and indeed he does. Ville's going to get pulled. Keep in mind, they got their bows here, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of bows, I don't know where my headsets have gone. I've got a couple. Well, my wife's got one. I've got one. You know those the AirPods. And I don't know where they've gone. I'm not kidding you. I've used like the Find My Phone thing, and they're paired up to that, and I can't find them. They're gone. They've been gone for about 2 months now, so I don't know whether or what happened, but look, it's not a good situation for me. Because I'm walking around the house, I want to listen to music, and I don't have my headphones. So I'm stuck in this bit of an awkward spot where it's like, do I buy new headphones, or do I just stick it out and hope that I find my old ones? And I don't know what to do. This is the classic gambit right here. But anyway, age up might be coming through. We do see Divine looking to put quite a few villagers here on that gold vein. So it's just going to be a 2 TC play here for Divine. No sign of stone being taken just yet. So 2 TCs. And interestingly, we see a second mill getting thrown down already. I'm not sure what this is all about. I'm assuming... So he just wants to... That's a pretty early horticulture actually coming through right now for Divine. Okay, I see what's happening. So basically Divine says, well, I don't... Oh my lord, there's a proxy base. Marine Lord's Cat. Okay. Okay. Calm down, Drongo. It's okay. Divine says, I need to throw down a second farm, or a second mill, because I'm going to be popping down so many farms over the next couple of seconds, couple of minutes. And I want them as close to the town center as possible, just so that I'm kind of safe from the back. Now, one of the things I'd love to see from Divine are walls. I'd love to see him wall off this little back pocket, a nice little wall to the town center here, just to make sure that he keeps this farmland safe. And then he can even consider throwing down. He could throw down a 3rd set of farms right here, but he's probably going to want to put a white tower in here. I suspect he's going to be going Castle Age. And look at this, getting all the +1 upgrades as well. I'm loving this opening from him. We're right on board with Marine Lord's Cat, as he looks to get serious, scratching at the front post of Divine's base. But not too much damage being done just yet. Keep in mind those javelin throwers. So I've got 6 tiles of range. Town center with 8 tiles of range should be able to outrange them, or necessarily outdamage them. Keep in mind those town centers only do, I think it's 6 damage a pop, and there's 4 armor on each of those units. So let's ride on board with Marine Lord's Cat and see exactly what's happening back home. As he's not looked to add in any additional houses on his first pit mine, the second pit mine has been completely surrounded with houses and mining camps, and the first of the battering rams is coming through. Now, I'm hoping that Marine Lord's Cat knows that you don't want to attack an English player with 1 battering ram. This is a dangerous game to play. The reality is, if you commit less than 2 battering rams, it is highly likely the English player will just ignore you and just keep on doing their thing. And that's definitely the right call. And interestingly, we see from Divine a stable going down. And he looks to go into stable with double horsemen. This is quite curious, because from my perspective, from what I've seen with the English, you can pretty much just ignore the enemy. Ignore the enemy, just go Castle Age, put the white tower down here, pull all your villagers, get that white tower down. Yeah, you might lose a villager or 2. But you'd be fine. You'd be fine. That white tower gets up and you're okay. You're fine and dandy. So we'll look to see whether he invests heavily in these horsemen or not. But there's the second battering ram. So definitely the right choice. Enough javelins here to one-shot a villager. Textiles has come through. Let's see. I'm curious if he actually one-shots a villager with textiles. 9, I don't think, yeah, he won't actually one-shot a villager with textiles. 75 health up against 80, well, it's 9 times 8, so 72 damage. So he will... Now he won't. So he's got enough to one-shot. So Divine now in a little bit of trouble. This is where he needs to pull villagers to repair. He also needs to make sure his villagers are going to be sieging down the battering rams, but it looks like he might just be sacrificing this front town center. Divine having trouble right now in Paradise. This is English Paradise. You can see he's on the way to Castle Age. Often we talk about English as this civilization that just can't be touched, can't be stopped when it's looking to go for this 2TC Castle Age, but I start to think that maybe, was it the wheelbarrow that slowed him down? All these eco upgrades that he managed to pick up, double broadaxe, horticulture, I think we even saw specialized pick come through. That's a lot of resources that have been thrown into those upgrades, and as a consequence, we don't see the age up coming through. And he's lost out a couple of villages here. Still got a nice little vill lead, up 8 vills for the moment. 6 vills actually, Drongo, do your math properly. And he's actually gathering. Oh, he wants to drop, is he dropping a keep? White Tower gonna go down, okay. Divine says, well, you're rushing, but he's got the Gandalf staff out, and he says, you shall not rush. All the villagers getting pulled now to the White Tower. This is what keeps him alive. 39 villagers on the White Tower. You know we're getting a picture of this right here. 39 villagers. You know, we talked about this a bit earlier, and I can't help but feel this just, it came a little bit too late. Had this come a little bit sooner, it would have been different. It would have been different, but now that keep is up. And Divine, with a slight villager lead, he's up 4 vills at the moment, starts thinking, where to from here? I've got the age up. I'm up against 3 rams. The vills, they're going to pop out. They're going to look to try and take down these rams together with the horsemen. Horsemen actually going to be turning their attention towards those javelin throwers. You can see how much damage that White Tower is going to be able to throw down. Look at how much damage it's doing. You shall not rush indeed, my friend. Divine DFP cleaning absolute house here. He says, Marine Lord, I don't care about your cat. I don't care about your rush. I don't care at all. I'm playing the English. I got the White Tower, baby. And one thing you got to remember with the White Tower, it is by far, in my opinion, the best landmark there is in the game right now. It's incredible. It allows you so much flexibility as the English. You go for 2 town centers. You go for 3 town centers. I don't care how many town centers you go for. You put that White Tower down and you never look back. That thing is a defensive powerhouse. And this is part of the reason why the English are considered so good at the moment, because it gives you that flexibility. And guess what? Even you throw this White Tower down, even if your enemy doesn't rush you, well, congratulations. You got 2 siege workshops. You got 2 stables, 2 archery ranges, 2 barracks as well in here. Throw them all in. And on top of that, you've got that extra fast production. So it means that when you do start training those knights, instead of getting 2 knights at the same time like you would with 2 stables, you get 1 nice and early to run into the enemy gold vein, and then you get 1 a little bit later to run into the enemy wood line. So there you go. Gold is going to be a problem here for Divine. We can see him moving out towards that gold mine, but immediately Marine Lord's cat says meow and prevents that lumber or that mining camp from going up. At the same time, down towards the south side, villagers that were once considered safe underneath the town center get picked off. And now Divine's got a bit of a difficult spot here. What unit composition does he move into? Because there's a part of me that says, okay, English longbows are actually pretty decent in this spot, but there's only one thing. You need to have +1, you need to have +2, and you need to have veterancy. And what don't you have right now? You don't have gold, so there's no chance of you getting those upgrades. That's a lot of resources for those upgrades. Just those upgrades alone, you're looking at what? 500 gold at least for tier 2 plus tier 1. So you're looking at 650 gold. That's a lot of resources to throw into that. So instead, going to be moving into knights. And we can now see the first of the knights is out on the field. Let's ride on board with Marine Lord's cat as he begins clicking up to the 3rd age. The Faroumba garrison is down 10 villagers here on the front side of the base, and his position here is looking great. We never actually saw him move into professional scouts, despite having a pretty decent window to do it. Instead, just focuses on that rush. The question's going to be whether it actually paid off. We saw him move out with all these units. Excuse me, sir. You're going to need to complete that battering ram if you want to cash it in, and he does indeed cancel it. So, I think the big question for me is this. You've gone and invested a whole bunch of resources in this rush. What have you denied? Well, you've killed a town center. Great. So you've achieved the goal. Yeah, kinda. But the enemy's still alive. The enemy's still surviving. The villager count didn't get knocked out that badly. You know, one of the things I remember Don Artie telling me early on in Age of Empires 4, he says, I don't care if you go for 2 TCs strong. I don't care if you go for 10 TCs, because I'm going to keep killing your villagers. That's the trick. I'm trading out those town centers and my battering rams for your villagers. That's the way that it plays. So while Divine here has been damaged, he's been hurt, he still maintains that villager count. And so as a result, I think that if anything, his tech lead gives him an advantage in this situation at the moment, just simply because there wasn't enough damage done by Marine Lord's cat. But let's see if Marine Lord's cat finds any opportunities to pounce upon Divine. At this point, the age ups come through. He's looking for veterancy upgrades. We see veteran Sofa together with the veteran javelin thrower. Bit of an interesting combination that he's going to be running here. Normally you either see Donzo javelin thrower or Sofa and archer. You don't normally see a crossing of the two, but Musafati going to be back home here, and he's going to be looking for those upgrades coming through shortly, I suspect. We see it right there. There's the veterancy on the Musafati. Villagers moving out. He's going to drop down his first pit mine. Rather, third pit mine. First pit mine of the castle age. Let's go with that one. And he's pretty much locked out of gold at this point. I mean, Marine Lord's Cat has not really kept tabs on this gold, but the knight numbers have risen to the point now where they become a real threat against Marine Lord's Cat. And you can see Divine behind on the score, about 500 points at the moment. Javelin throwers have moved in. We've got a nice little wall beginning to come up here, and those Vills are going to be moving towards the backside of the wood line. There's actually a chop through here. And all the Vills turn, looking to fire down with their bows. Managed to take out that javelin, and slowly, Marine Lord's Cat is losing this push he's been making on the front. Back towards the base of Marine Lord's Cat. A lot of villagers on gold here. Let's switch it over. In fact, we're 16 minutes through the game. Apologies for not switching that over sooner. Musafati going to be running through. A lot of knights here. It looks like the Musafati getting some decent swings off, but I think for at least the first battle here, the knights should be victorious, and indeed they are. But they will have to fall back. The javelins backing them up are going to just hurt a little bit too much. 11 damage up against the 4 armor. Just not enough. But now that second Townsend are going to be coming down once again. And the English looking pretty resilient so far as we cross into the 17th minute of this game. So far, there hasn't been... I mean, he's obviously done a pretty decent job of staying alive. I think my biggest fear was that that push would continue coming. The problem is it can't continue coming because of the White Tower. It went too early. The White Tower did. The White Tower came up too early, and you can't really push... I mean, how do you push into the White Tower? Realistically, even if you've got 4 rams here, 5 rams, I take all these vills, I put them inside my White Tower. Now it's firing out those extra arrows. And then I pull my vills from my wood... Oh, third TC. I pull my vills from my wood line, and I'm rallying them. They're going to be sieging down the rams. You can't bring any of your units within range of the White Tower, because if you do, I'm just going to be taking out all of them. It makes it very difficult to deal with any kind of rush. And it really seems like the landmark that just shuts down all rushes completely. And you can see the secondary town center here going to be helping out. And we've now got the veterancy on the longbows. Question's going to be whether we've got +1 coming through. Let's take a look at Divine's base. Obviously, the third TC is up here. But no blacksmith just yet. Now, part of my thinking in this matchup is the reason why Castle Age English is so good against the Malians. Or at least, I should say, so much better than the Feudal Age English, is because of the damage difference that you get. So if you've got longbows, right? Longbows are a base of 6 damage. Okay, 6 damage, give them +1, takes them up to 7. You look at the javelin thrower, they're a base of 3 armor, takes them up to 4. So a total of up to 4 with +1. Once they get veterancy though, they're a 4 base armor with +2, which takes them up to 6 armor. So if you're in the Feudal Age as English, fighting against the Castle Age Malians, you're doing 1 damage with your longbows. But where it starts to give you value is once you get the Castle Age, you can get those upgrades through like veterancy, which gives you +2. And then of course, once +1 and +2 come through, now you're up to 10 damage. 10 damage, which technically quadruples your damage against the Malian javelin thrower. And that's why I actually posit that the power dynamic switches between these two units once Castle Age is reached. Because even though the javelin thrower will beat the longbowman, you're not going to make... I mean, even if you make 50 javelin throwers, they're going to quickly lose their ability to fight up against those longbowmen, just simply because the longbow numbers are going to be so strong. The damage is just going to be there for them. Now Divine looking for a way back into the game. He knows he needs to cause damage to his opponent. Keep in mind he's scaling. So he just needs to stay alive. That's the big thing right now for Divine. He needs to stay alive. Needs to make sure that he doesn't die. So what could potentially kill him? Like a timing attack could potentially knock him out here. A slow, steady push with trebuchets onto the White Tower, and then a push in right as the White Tower goes down. That could be something that knocks him out. He knows that he will be finding his way back into the game if he can delay that push from occurring. And subsequently, we see these knights looking to come across the map. He's spotting out trade here. He's thinking, where is that trade? Is that trade coming through? And if so, we need to make sure that we shut it down. And now, it's going to spot those units. Javelin thrower is doing so much damage there. Annihilating the scout in the blink of an eye. Villager's going to have to fall back. Divine yet to move on to this safer golden. He does spot out plenty of those houses on the gold with a couple of the knights. He's going to continue looking for more and more villagers rallied across the backside. Wants to try and draw some of Marine Lord's cat units over here. Marine Lord's cat's units? The units of Marine Lord's cat. There you go. Sprinkler placement coming through. He's well and truly aware of these knights now. And this is the push. This is the timing that we were talking about. Just a single ram for the moment. He's going to need more than that if he wants to push underneath this white tower. The white tower will provide a lot of assistance, and you can see Divine struggling a little bit. Oh my lord, Divine struggling quite a lot now. 29 against 73. This is not a fight he wants to take right here. Musafati on the backside, looking to come through. I don't know exactly what they're doing. Javelin's just looking to focus down individual longbowmen, and this is part of the reason why the longbowmen in this age are a little bit stronger. Musafati going to be able to clean up that front line of knights. Should be able to head back through. In fact, he's just going to utilize them, and Siege is coming in from this angle. Definitely going to be able to put on a lot of pressure. Sacred Sight's getting taken behind, and Javelin just looking to push back these longbow. But you can see the damage that comes out from the longbow is actually pretty decent. They can fight mono-y-mono once they're in the castle age. And somehow, despite 1/3 of the army, Divine holds on without even utilizing the White Castle. So well played from him there. You can see a significant loss of units there. Not sure what happened, why it went that way. Interestingly, we don't see any network of citadels upgrade. Divine stacking up quite a bit of wood at the food at the moment, realizing that his only access to infinite resources is going to be that food. So he's going to have to rely on it, maybe sell off a little bit. We'll take a look and see what the price is. Beautiful. You love this so much. You build the market and you can see the food price hasn't been touched by your enemy. And now we got that push coming through once again. Also, fighting numbers starting to build. But I think this might actually just come down to Marine Lord's cat, rather. His unfamiliarity with this matchup, or just with the way that the Malians have played. I don't know too much about Marine Lord's cat. I know at the moment sitting at about Conqueror 3. So obviously quite a good player. Top 100, somewhere around that number. So definitely a solid player. I know that they play a lot of different civs. I didn't see any linked accounts. So normally on AoE4 World, it will show you like if there's a linked account, if they've played under this name or under this account on stream or something like that. Sometimes you'll find an account and it's like Marine Lord's cat and it's like it's Puppy Paw or something like that. That happens all the time. But Marine Lord's cat didn't seem to have a linked account. So that's one thing to note. But Divine, keep in mind, he's got that 3 TC. He is scaling at this point. And the longer this game goes, the better it gets for him. Let's ride on board though with Marine Lord's cat. He's got 3 relics in the bag at the moment. Still 1 relic out here nice and safe. A 5th relic also available for him. One of those sacred sites taken. So hasn't done the best job with regard to sacred site collection, I guess you could call it. Now, one of my favorite things to always point out. You see this mangonel right here? A lot of people would scream and shout and think, oh my god, a mangonel, what am I going to do? But the best thing about playing as the English and having the white tower is you just click this button and 15 seconds later you got yourself a sprinkle. That's the power of this landmark. And now a nice little stone wall coming in. Defensive position. Marine Lord's cat, he's just over here building up an outpost thinking, I'm fine. Nope, nope, you are not fine, sir. Outpost gets cancelled. Now that push going to be coming in. Looking to head down towards that same angle he's hit twice before. Perhaps this time he'll have success. Ready? Get ready to see that sprinkled. Otherwise, he's just going to try and dance around the mangonel. If so, good luck to him. Firing. Let's see that mangonel. Fire mangonel. There it goes. It hits the front line. Slowly but steadily. He's looking for it. You can smell it. Where's that sprinkled? Surely that's the sprinkled. Let's double check and see. Is it the sprinkled? Yeah, that's the sprinkled. It's exactly what you need. Mangonel just kind of chilling out. He needs to be leading with this Mangonel. Wants to really try and get this damage through. And you can see this is the problem when you get these javelins. Javelin numbers this high. They've got so much damage. They just overkill any unit completely. Because remember, these javelin throwers are sitting on 12 damage a pop, right? 12 damage, not including their damage against ranged units. That's the key to remember. Against ranged units, you're talking about a total of 20 damage. These longbows have got 80 health. It's a huge amount of damage. Sprinkled comes through. Mangonel not even going to get a shot off here. Nice little attacks coming in on the front, but the longbow number's just going to be way too solid here. Second Mangonel coming through. Springald uncontested. Second Springald arrives to the party. You can see those Musafati looking to try and get through. Vils could be pulled. Mangonel manages to fire off. He's done a decent job of zoning off those Springalds. At the same time, the Mangonel looking for a shot on the back line. It's not going to clear anything out. Just remember, he's got full health bars here. He's also got access to healing circle, and he's able to hold on a little bit longer. If he holds this fight, he wins this game. The Springalds come through. He's got the third one out now as well, so there's no way anything's going to be going to Ori here. And it looks really solid for Divine on this defense. And it all just comes back to that white tower. You shall not rush. Beautiful hold. Once again by Divine. It's just been non-stop aggression coming out from Marine Lord's Cat. Just swiping at every chance he's got to take down his opponent. But he doesn't find it today. And now a Trebuchet going to be made for Divine. Looking to begin extending out that influence. He's been playing in this pocket for 25 minutes. 25 minutes of this game he's left, has not left this 10% of the map he's called his home. He's managed to go through one wood line, two wood lines. He's got a little bit left back here. You can see how far he's got these villagers gathering. But he needs a third wood line, and this is the one he's identified as a requirement. Could also look to move over here, but we've got a keep that's coming up. Looks like it gets cancelled. He realizes that that one villager, it's going to take too long to build it. And there's the healing circle that we saw coming through for the English. And now he just begins trebbing down the enemy base. He can make a play at Imperial here. He's definitely got a window for it. Doesn't need to, but can definitely do that. Obviously, will extend out the game a little bit longer. But it's one of those things that I like to say playing the percents, right? Like, you can take the 3-point shot when you're open, or you can pass it to your teammate who is, you know, about to just lay the ball up and has, you know, you've got like maybe a 40% chance of hitting your 3-point shots because you know you've hit a fair few 3-pointers this season, whereas your opponent who's throwing layups up, you know, undefended in the zone, they got like a 98% chance of hitting it. So you just got to take the percentage play. Divine definitely going to be taking the percentage play by the looks of it. He's maxed out. He's 200. I think that's pretty much his only choice at this point to head towards Imperial. Whether he waits for upgrades, that's going to be a different matter. He's got 11 vils on the gold, so not a huge amount of vils on gold. We'll need to move out. You can see he's got 13 vils ready to go onto that gold, but he's going to clear up this forward base. And Marine Lord's Cat now going to be on the defensive, but you can't help but feel a little bit concerned for Marine Lord's Cat. Probably rolling a bit too much in the catnip in the mid game. And now I'm going to start adding in farms. You never want to be seeing that. Oh my lord, look at all the farms he's got down back here. 22 farms. A distinct lack of cattle. And that push coming out. Marine Lord's Cat sitting on 160 population. Huge, massive javelin throwers. I'd love to see just a huge amount of Sofa together with archers fully upgraded. The problem that you're going to have is that Divine, if he goes imp, there's nothing you can do. And look at Divine just walling up. He knows the win condition for his enemy here. Mass scouts. He's fearful. What if Marine Lord's Cat is really Salami? What if he looks for 100 scouts and burns down all of my landmarks? It's happened before. Will happen again. Salami definitely the kind of guy to find something like that as an option. And now continuing to push forward. Looking to finish off this game. 6 knights in queue. Crossbow as well, ready to go. Continuing to push up with the outpost. An immaculate push coming out from Divine at this point. Spots out the enemy forces. And for the first time in this game, Divine is on the offensive. We don't see any siege coming out from Marine Lord's Cat. The Springald's just going to remain just chilling for the moment. Nothing super important for them to do. So they can just zone out any enemy units. They still do quite a bit of damage. Remember that. 30 damage a pop coming in from each of these guys. Now the Trebs going to be unfolding. Perfect shots. Managing to take out the outpost. Keep did go up. Gets cancelled. Not a lot of villagers here to build it, unfortunately. He's going to go for it a little bit further back. But still, your main focus is going to be on the front. Remember, you got 3 landmarks over here. I'm looking to try and bait him over towards this right side of the screen, but at the same time, Divine aware of the potential threat. Lays in waiting. He's got the outpost on the backside. Will provide that network of citadels bonus. Remember, he has upgraded that at the keep. So it will give him that extra attack speed. And now we've got the attack coming through flank. over from the left side. Sofa Warriors getting themselves into the battle. Knights also going to be looking to screen, run a little bit of a screen here. Javelins coming in as quickly as they can, looking to focus down all these archers. And you can see when they throw off all their javelins, they're just absolutely overkilling all of these units, and that's what makes the difference here. Still trying his best, falling back towards the keep. The keep actually gets up. Tenville's jump inside, nice and safe. Treb still working their way on that landmark. The Farimba garrison does go down. And with that reinforcement, it's going to be extra hard to push in from this angle. Javelin throwers doing their best to try and clean up the longbows. But still, I think it looks good. It looks good for Divine. Remember, he's going to have those reinforcements coming through. And by the sounds of it, we've got Imperial Age coming through right there. And good game gets called. Indeed, it was Imperial Age that came through, and Divine is successful. Fellas, if you've enjoyed this casted game, make sure you check out Divine DFP. I'll leave a link in the description to where he streams live over on Twitch. He could be live right now. Go check him out. A really solid player, very good player. Conqueror 3, one of the best in the world. Go say good day from me, and I'll catch you guys later.